Good morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is Monday, November 13th, 2017. And as promised, we are going to start off today, this week, with the debt consolidation and credit repair uh, series that we have been working on. Now, I'm going to reiterate for those of you that have not had a chance to get all of your credit bureaus sent to you by mail yet, please be sure to go back and revisit these videos because you're going to need those and you're going to need to look at those when they do arrive in order to follow these steps. But this is the first step that I want everyone to take a look at for those of you that have received all three of your major credit bureaus. Now, I'm also going to mention here that there are actually a total of 6 credit bureaus. We are going to be talking about all 6 of those, but the 3 major ones are the ones we need to be most concerned with, and that is TransUnion, Equifax, and of course the Experian, which is who TRW used to be TRW. So we're going to go ahead and begin with a very simple and short video. This should not be too difficult for you guys to do. I've already gone through, and if you have not viewed it yet, just go back to the videos that explain to you how to read your credit bureaus. I want you to go down into the section that tells you what your status is for each individual account. And I want you to look up any accounts that you have that show you to be in collections. It's very important that they are in collections. We're not talking about 60, 90-day lates. We're not talking about charged off accounts. We are only talking about collection accounts. So those accounts that show collection are the ones we're going to be talking about today. And there are some steps that I need for you to take with regards to those in order to start getting these cleared up and getting them taken off of your credit bureau. Now, these first few steps have to do with your rights as a consumer with regards to what a collection agency can and cannot do. But there are also some things that you may find out while investigating by doing these steps that will assist us in getting these removed from your credit bureau also. So the very first thing that I need for you to do is locate those collection accounts and either highlight them with a highlighter or write them on a separate piece of paper. Make sure that you include everything. And the main things being, of course, the account number, how much is due, and a very, very important part of this is ensuring the location, if it states it on your credit bureau. Now, most of the time on the bureaus that are sent to you, you will have at the very least an 800 number and the name of the collection agency. Sometimes you'll even get an address. What we are looking to do is find any kind of identifying information on every single collection account because we're going to use that information in our second step. So after you've written all of these down separately, be sure not to confuse any of them with the others, so leave enough space in between. What you're going to do next is you're going to check each and every one of these out. What I mean by that is you are going to ensure that every single one of your collection accounts are being held at a collection agency that is licensed in the state you are at to collect from. They have to be licensed and insured. So one of the ways of doing that is by, number one, checking the Better Business Bureau. In the Better Business Bureau records online in your state, there should be a statement that is made that shows you exactly what states that collection agency is licensed and insured to collect in. Now, of course, there are going to be those that are smaller or newer that perhaps don't subscribe to the Better Business Bureau as of yet. And for those, you can go through your Attorney General's office to find out. The bottom line is very simple, and you will find that over 50% of collection agencies that attempt to collect from you are not really legally able to collect from you. And what I mean by that is, if they're not licensed for collection in your state and insured for collections in your state, they're not legally allowed to collect from you. Okay? The two ways you find that out, once again, calling the Attorney General's office or going online to your state Attorney General's office website and looking them up in the actual database. There will be a license issuance number there if they are licensed to collect in your state. So that is extremely important for you to find out, because should you find out that they are not able to collect from you in your state, then you can dispute on your credit bureau based on that, and have it removed from your bureau based on the fact that they legally are not able to collect from you. Now, for those of you that do not actually have the information as far as address, full names, generally there'll be at least a toll-free phone number that you can contact them at. That's usually a requirement that all of the bureaus have, because the bureaus have to have relation with them and have to at least list it. It's not going to be good enough for you to just look up online where they're located, because without an address, it's possible that they could have many locations in several different states with several different issuances of licenses and insurance policies. So in this case, you will have to actually pick up the phone and call them. When you contact them, you're going to ask for the agency's address. You're entitled to that information, okay? You check them out, like I said, with the Better Business Bureau, and call your state's Attorney General office to find out whether those collectors are licensed in your state. If so, you need to confirm whether they do or don't have insurance to collect within your state. Most states provide an online lookup tool for checking the licensing status of a business. You need to utilize that. But if you do have to contact them, make sure that you have your ducks in a row. That's the only information that you're attempting to find out. You're entitled to that information. And if they refuse to provide you with that information, that needs to be filed as a complaint through your Attorney General's office. If you have caller ID, type the phone number of the company that's calling into a search engine. If they're calling you and you don't know who they are and you can't relate it back to your credit report, and make sure that you learn who they are so that you can actually go in and attempt to try to get this information with regards to the licensing of them. Okay, now number 2, after you are done checking them out, for those of them that are left over, we are going to move forward with you verifying the debt. And what I mean by that is you are going to send a letter that I will show you a copy of so you can use it verbatim if you want to. It's free of charge. I'm just providing it to you as a guideline, a template that you can use, so that this way, after you have verified the ones that you find out are verifiable and licensed and insurance and have insurance to collect in your state, you're going to need to send them each certified letters. Those certified letters are going to request certain pieces of information from them that will verify the debt. Now, some of these debts you're going to recognize. But just because you recognize the debt doesn't necessarily mean that the amount of the debt is going to correlate specifically with the amount on your credit report. That is what we are looking for. Remember that anything that's an inconsistency or erroneous information, anything that does not match within a 30-day period, okay? They have 30 days in between there to mismatch. But anytime outside of that 30-day time frame, it must be the same, because if it's not, it must be removed. So after we go through searching to make sure that they're licensed in the state that you are in, then we need to go ahead and we need to have them verify the debt, verify that it's you, verify where it came from, verify exactly when it went into collections, exactly what's been added onto it for collections. You need a check and balance sheet. And then we're going to go back and correlate it to your credit report. Okay, so tomorrow I will be listing that letter for you because this should give you guys some additional time to take a look at those collection reports or collection accounts and ensure that the ones that cannot collect from you, you take off of this list. You will not need to send them this specific letter. Now, if you're getting calls from these collection agencies, now is when you need to take the time to write down the name and phone number and get your ducks in a row before you call them back. If you happen to pick up the phone and it's a collector on the line, my suggestion to you would be to request all specific information that we just discussed and let them know that you will contact them back. Don't discuss business with them right at that moment. Don't get emotional. Do not get upset. Just simply let them know you'll be calling them back within 24 to 48 hours. If you are receiving collection calls at work, okay, then we will go over how you cease and desist with calls from work. You have the right to stop collection calls from coming into your employment. It's embarrassing. It's a waste of your time. It isn't something that you're going to want to or need to or probably are even really allowed to be discussing at work. They don't need to be calling you at work. And in reality, there's other ways that you can get them to stop harassing you at home also. We're going to go into that more this week too. So that's kind of a little bit of a highlight. I want to make sure that you understand that if you are being disrespected, even at home, if they're calling you and you're saying, look, I need the information, provide me with the name of your agency, provide me with your address, your toll-free phone number, your fax number, your agent ID and name, and your supervisor's agent ID and name. I need your licensing information, and I need to find out from you what state you're legally allowed to collect in. If they become rude and they start arguing with you or are demanding things of you right now, you immediately need to request to speak with a supervisor. These types of scare tactics, are not legal. It's not something you need to put up with. You need to take firm control and be in charge when it comes to this. It is only a debt, okay? It is not. Debtor's jail went out many, 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 many years ago. This is just simply a debt. You need time to go ahead and go back and look at your own records. You need to be able to have the appropriate ducks in a row when you contact them. Put this on in your favor, not in theirs. They have no personal interest. It's not emotional to them. They're going to call and say whatever they can say because that is how they get paid. If they can intimidate you into giving them even $25, they'll do it. Don't let them get away with it, especially before you have verified that they can even legally collect from you in the state that you're in. So that's it for right now. That's enough for the majority of you. All three of your credit reports need to be broached in this manner. Pull out all of the collection and only the collection accounts for now. We will be revisiting late payments, charged off accounts, liens and bankruptcies, debt consolidation notices, and these types of things that are on your credit report as we keep going. But for right now, this is the most important first step when you get your credit bureaus back. Thanks so much, everyone, and I hope everyone has a great Monday.